everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek. You are watching Kevin the Geek, and welcome back to another episode of my monthly plans and my responding to your comments. But first of all, and I think you know what I'm going to say here, thank you so very much for everybody who has helped me to reach the milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Yes! It's a weird feeling, I'm not gonna lie, because I made my first video about September 22 when I set up my PlayStation to do a live stream of F1 Manager 22, the pretty much, you know, one of the first days it came out. And since then, I, at the time of me recording, have 620 videos live on the channel. I have more that are currently recorded and waiting to be edited, some that are waiting to go live, and I've had from the last email I got, around about something like, I've had like 200,000 views over these multitude of videos over this sort of last, well, 2 and a bit kind of years, or almost 2 years now. Yeah, it's weird because I never thought I'd get here. Like, I remember the first day I got my first subscriber, I was like, ooh, that's quite cool. I don't even know if that subscriber's still around, because obviously they came for F1 Manager, and I don't really do that anymore. I haven't done that for a good year or so. Haven't really done many video game stuff, to be fair, for a long while, and I want to get back to it. I'd like to do a little bit more, but obviously I've got to work, I've got to do my stuff, because this is a hobby at the end of the day. But thank you to everyone who has helped me get to this point. Yeah, I'm going to give you a very quick roundup of my plans for this month. And apologies at any point if I cough or sputter or anything. I am a bit under the weather, hence my... I mean, I'm recording this on April the 1st, and I messed up this morning when I did my upload of the Lee Mack Game Show 3x3, where I basically forgot to complete the link to it, because I put the information into the description box, but I was uploading the video to Dailymotion, because obviously I can't get it onto YouTube, and I had basically forgotten to put the last part of it, so it would take you to the Dailymotion. So apologies for that. Bit foggy brained at the moment, but I've got my Lemsip. So you know, I'm recovering. I'm getting there slowly but surely. Now, so first of all, the plans for this month. Of course, we're going to do another monthly community choice movie reaction, and from the poll that I gave you last month, where I gave you a number of different options, the outright winner of that was Trainspotting. So towards the end of this month, I am going to be doing the movie reaction to Trainspotting. But today, basically now, at the time the video, this video is going live, there is a new poll out on the channel as well, and that is going to be your choice for which movie I react to for the month of May. And what I've done is I've chosen the second and the third most popular choices from last month's poll, and then from the suggestions that you gave me from a post that I put out a little while ago, I have put in 3 other choices. So your 5 choices for May's movie reaction is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. That one has come back. That was the second highest choice from last month's poll. Gladiator is on the poll for 3 months in a row now. People seem to like it, but people aren't quite pushing it to the top level. So if you really want it, really, you know, put in your choices for Gladiator. And then the 3 new suggestions for this month's poll, we have gone with The Goonies, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, and The Blues Brothers. So there you go. Obviously, other suggestions that people have mentioned, I have taken note of them, and maybe they'll come into a different poll at some point in the future. It's kind of helping me to get a bit of a database of some things that people would like to see, and I can try to use that and put them more in. So don't worry, when I put a similar thing next month and give you, your choice and your ability to make your choices, that it will, I have those in file in the bank, so don't you worry with that. Now for this month, couple of slightly new / different things. So of course we've got 3 shows that are a regular monthly thing, or rather a regular weekly thing. Doctor Who is of course going to continue on with its weekly reaction. Not reaction, sorry. Like I said, this is me being unwell. My mind's a bit foggy, so apologies. It's our weekly reviews of Doctor Who. So this week we've already done A Christmas Carol, and then from next week onwards we're starting with Series 6. And on Fridays, of course, we are back with the British Empire. So yesterday we had the first episode of Series 6, and I'm just going to be continuing on with the British Empire. And of course, on Mondays we have Benidorm. Now, you may notice that there is a weekly show that I have missed off there, which some people, depending on how much of my other videos you watch, you may or may not be aware of my plans for Still Game. So if you do not know, this is my plans for Still Game. I've thought long and hard about this, but ultimately we've finished Series 6, and of course we have the Hogmanay special still to come, and then there was a hiatus of a number of years, and then the show came back much later on. And I have decided to incorporate a similar break for me with Still Game. So Still Game will be coming back. I will be doing this month the reaction to the Hogmanay special that we have not seen, which was Hootenanny. That one is currently planned for the 28th of April, so right at the end of April. But taking the place of Still Game for the next few weeks and going into May and into June, we're going to be doing Rabsy Nesbitt Series 1. And I did the Christmas special, which was the very first episode of that, back in December. You can go and check that one out. But I have done, so far, I've recorded the first 2 episodes of Rabsy Nesbitt. The first one comes out tomorrow, and then the next one comes out next Sunday. So it's just going to be replacing Still Game on a Sunday at 10 o'clock. So nothing really changes time-wise or anything like that, but it will be happening there. And ultimately, for me, I wanted to just kind of give myself a little bit of a break with Still Game to allow myself to build up the anticipation in the same way that you guys would have done so at the time, whether you were knowing whether or not it would come back. So there you go. But of course, I will be doing periodically. I will be still doing Still Game content, so don't worry, it's not going away completely. But basically, we'll do Series 1 of Rabsy Nesbitt. Once we've done that, Still Game will come back for Series 7, 8, and 9. So there you go, and that will be happening on the channel. That will be happening. I'll be uploading it to probably Dailymotion or Google Drive, because as I understand it, Series 7, 8 and 9 can't really get onto YouTube, but I will be doing the way that I do with all of those videos. When I can't get it onto YouTube, I will still do a little video that will come out, and it'll be like a minute, 2 minutes long, and it'll basically be along the lines of, this is what's coming out today. If you want to check it out, here it is. And I'll put the link in there and you can see it, and I'll take you over to Google Drive, Dailymotion, wherever I've uploaded the video, so you still get that chance to see it. But otherwise, with stuff, we've had an inside number 9. If you didn't realise it, that was my April Fool's prank for you guys, because I was pranked by Louisa. Louisa! And of course, Paul, I saw your comment about it. That you had mentioned it a while ago, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, I forgot about it. I forgot that you even mentioned 3x3 to me for that one, so that's why you didn't get mentioned in that video, particularly with that one. But it was one that Louisa basically just said, watch this, don't do any research about it, let me know your thoughts afterwards. and I watched it, and then I bloody realised it was an Inside number 9. So there you go. That's already been out. The In-Betweeners we've already done this week on Tuesday. We did the Day Today on Thursday, episode 5 of that one, and earlier on today, if you missed it, I've gone back and seen again for first time in a little while. An Idiot Abroad. That was the Egypt episode with that one. Next week we have got on Monday, taking the place of Benidorm just for one day. I'm doing the Are You Dave Gorman final episode because that aired on April the 8th back in 2001. So just for one day, Benidorm this week is going to be moving to the Tuesday, and that one is also going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be a full-blown Benidorm special. That is going to be the charity special, Benidorm's Got Talent, where there's a mash-up between Benidorm and Britain's Got Talent. And then later on the Tuesday as well, we are going to be having Desmond's, the final episode of Series 1 as well. We're going to have Not Going Out. We are going to be having Saturday next week, so a week today, we are going to be doing a double header for My Hero. And so we're going to be doing the comic relief special of that. And then later on in the day, we'll be doing the first episode of Series 2. So that's going to be happening there. Ghosts, of course, will be coming out. That is also on the Series 1 finale for that episode. I'm going to be going back to Taskmaster this month. So we're going to be doing Series 6. I don't know how much of Series 6. My plan, in an ideal world, is to do the entire series and release it in one single day. But there are 10 episodes. So depending on how the recording goes, it will either be all 10 episodes in one video upload, or it will be part 1 of Series 6 of Taskmaster, and I'll upload the first 5 episodes, and then on another day I'll upload the second 5. Depends how we go with that. And then what else we got? Good Night Sweetheart, of course, is going to be back. Gimme Gimme Gimme, I've not done that for a month or two, so that is going to be coming out. That'll be the 5th episode of the first series. And then on the 27th of April, the Saturday, that will be when I do Train Spotting on that day. Then of course 28th, it will be the Hogwarts special of Still Game. Then of course we'll have another Benidorm, and then we'll have Dave Gorman's Modern Life is Goodish, episode 4 of Series 1. There's one more thing that I haven't mentioned, and that is one that in an ideal world, is something I'd like to do on a monthly basis moving forward, and have at least one guaranteed video where someone has suggested a particular show at some point. So what I've decided to do for this month, like I said, I can't always guarantee that this is something that will be able to happen each month, but that will be, fingers crossed, I can try and do that. So I can start seeing some more of the suggestions that you guys are putting in. But this one I'm putting in, this is Andy's suggestion. He put it in quite a while ago, to be perfectly fair, and this one is going to be Rising Damp. This will be Series 1, Episode 1 of that one. So, Andy, that one is coming out for you later on this month as well. So, there you go. That is my plans for this month. And it is now time to have a look at some of your comments that you've been leaving on the over the videos and things over the last month. Please don't be offended if I don't read out any of your comments. Sometimes it just falls that way. I will only try and read out ones that I have a genuine response I can give to, but please always feel free to drop your comments in. Let me know what you like about the channel, what you don't like about the channel. Let me know things that you think that I could improve on, because it's a community at the end of the day. I'm not a dictator. I don't tell you this is what's happening and I want your suggestions. I always want your feedback, but whether I listen to them or not, it depends on what you suggest at the end of the day. But yeah, let's check out comments from last month. So the first comment is from Bladis Marsh. Just wondering about reacting to future British comedies. Have you considered One Foot in the Grave? It's super hilarious and Richard Wilson is brilliant. You know the iconic I don't believe it line. I think it's something right up your alley and not many have reacted to it online. If that is the I don't believe it, the one that featured in the Father Ted episode, I don't believe it. I'll be honest, I have not seen One Foot in the Grave. And it is one that I know someone else has suggested. I think it was CM Mooney, I think suggested it a little while ago. And that is one that is on the radar that I would like to put out on the channel at some point. Maybe that'll be one of the next ones to be a a guaranteed one that someone has suggested in the month. So keep your suggestions coming. Jamie, loving the In-Betweeners. It's such a shame you can't upload it directly to YouTube, but at least we're getting to watch along. Great reaction as always. The In-Betweeners is a bit of a weird one. So I see some people that manage to get it up, because I try and do a little bit of research before I, sorry, I've got a dog barking, and apologies if you can suddenly hear that. Yeah, the In-Betweeners, well, any new show that I try and do a little bit of research just to see, does it look like something that someone has got onto YouTube before? Is it something that may or may not be able to go onto YouTube? I don't know. I like to get at least a bit of an idea so I can try and plan it out in my head. And ultimately, there are some people who've got the entire episodes on them, and other people have got it on there with like copyright written all over it and other stuff like that. I'm never going to do that. I don't want to do it like that. It's just not my way of doing things. And ultimately, I think it maybe depends on the copy you get. And some people have said that, like, Little Dot Studios is one copyright owner that I've seen that seems to be quite relaxed at releasing the content. Like Desmond's gets claimed by Little Dot Studios initially, and then it seems to get released as soon as I put in a dispute. In most of the time, not always, but most of the time. Black Books, I did that recently. That got claimed by Little Dot Studios. As soon as I made the claim, bang, they just released it straight away. So it depends really, but I've never had one so far which has been Little Dot Studios for the In-Betweeners. So we'll have to see if I ever get that, and if it does, fingers crossed, it'll just be able to go straight up there. But yeah, we'll have to see. But I am really enjoying the In-Betweeners. Regarding the film Braveheart, it's very good and engaging and a well-made film, but a load of utter crap. Gibson's accent was just about okay, but somewhat exaggerated or forced. It somehow didn't quite gel. It had an air of being a bit false. The biggest problem with the overall film production is the vast amount of historical inaccuracies, but that's Hollywood. And I would definitely agree that seems to be Hollywood in general. I can't say about Braveheart because I've not seen it, but I'm a big fan of Robin Hood related stuff because my family is from the Nottingham area and Sherwood Forest and everything, so it's part of my upbringing. Although I've never actually seen the BBC series of Robin Hood, or to be honest, like Merlin or Atlantis, I think they did at some point. They had a little period where they did these kind of more historical shows. I never watched any of them. Let me know if you have seen them, if you think they're worth checking out. But yeah, Robin Hood, I'm a massive fan of, and so like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, and then the worst one of the lot was the one with Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx that I did a couple of years ago. That was the worst of the lot. I mean, so many historical inaccuracies. I mean, talk about having a machine gun style artillery arrow shooter machine thing, and literally Robin Hood wearing a hoodie. Ugh, no thank you. Uncle Bucky, the Scottish loaf used to be great, not so much these days. It's still good for beans on toast, mind you. Anything with liquid to soften that crust a bit. So yeah, I think that would make sense. Yeah, if you're doing something like with maybe a soup, or like say beans on toast or something like that, maybe scrambled egg on toast, let it soften up a little bit of butter and the juices from like maybe the egg and mushrooms or something like that. Yeah, that's where I could definitely see Scottish loaf being really good there. Went on the Daily Motion to watch the episode of Benidorm, and I was greeted by an unusual scary face of Les as the thumbnail. I don't know if anyone else was. So with Daily Motion, I can't do what I do with YouTube and like create my own thumbnails and upload them. It pretty much just, like you can choose a portion of the video and then click use this frame as a thumbnail basically. And most of the time I will just upload it and forget about it and just leave it as it was. But I thought it'd be quite funny, wouldn't it, if I do that moment where literally you got Les filling in the screen going when he's literally about to snog the face off Trudy. So yeah, I'm sorry about that one, but I just thought that would be funny. And yeah, clearly it gave a few a bit of a shock. Paul, sorry for micro spamming the comments last night. I hope it wasn't sending you notifications. There was much to discuss. Hey, don't ever apologise about how many comments you send through. I appreciate every single comment. I try and look at every single comment at the time when they come through, as well as obviously reviewing them at the end of the month for when I choose them for this point. Yeah, don't ever apologise for sending too many comments. There's no such thing as too many comments in my book. So many things that... so many say things not age well as what... Hang on, what? Sorry, this is my... foggy brain again. Sorry, let me do this. This is from the Benidorm episode, by the way. So many say things not age well as what accused of, but I will always view Rolf Harris as a legend since I focus on the music and the painting side of him. It's tricky, isn't it, to separate the performer or the artist or whatever from the potential personal side thing. It's like you've obviously had the whole thing in football with like Mason Greenwood and his kind of arrest and, you know, his trial / non-trial / being acquitted. Yeah, it wasn't being acquitted because he got, people just didn't take it to trial and things. And then obviously you got things like Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, where they've been literally found accused of stuff. And then people like Michael Jackson and Cliff Richard at times have been accused of things, and then it's like to be rejected or not proven or whatever. I think for me, so when you say something like Michael Jackson, obviously he had allegations about him and they were ultimately proven unfounded. Some people said that they felt that they couldn't listen to his music after that. That's fair enough. I personally can, because there was no crimes associated, and even if you could say what was reportedly said and what Michael Jackson reportedly said about what happened at the time, even if it's a bit sketchy, like it was in a court of law basically said, nothing basically happened realistically. Whereas with people like Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, they ultimately are convicted. They were found guilty as having done the stuff they did. Now with Jimmy Savile, I can't say that I've really ever watched anything with Jimmy Savile. Maybe I've seen the odd clips of things, from like archive footage, but I've never really watched much. Rolf Harris, on the other hand, I did grow up watching him, and he was a legend in the eyes of many children. The way he presented his TV shows and he did his art and things like that. He was an inspiration to many children and adults as well, to be fair, but a lot of kids. Where I have the issue, personally, is the fact that, he basically abused the position that he was in as found guilty in a court of law. So, for me, it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth and of my memories of the stuff I watched growing up. And it's hard to now separate it from, separate the artist from the crimes. That's my personal viewpoint. You're welcome to your own with that. I'm not saying that you're wrong with that at all. Now, Pedro said, for the Doctor Who Silurian two-parter episode, isn't it ironic that this episode, which was set in 2020, accurately predicted social distancing with Amy and Rory being very far apart from their future selves? Yeah, I'm really annoyed with your comments, because I recorded and edited and uploaded that video about 10 minutes before it went live. I literally had the same viewpoint and thought process as you. So I'm annoyed because I didn't come up with it and I didn't think of it. This and the Christmas special was originally meant to have been the finale, but because the show did so well with ratings and audiences, the BBC renewed it. However, the original writers would not return, and it does kind of show a bit early on. Series 6 and 7 have strong highs, but they're not quite the same quality of the best episodes from Series 4 and 5. I think a lot of fans can agree. The Christmas special is Laura's last appearance, sadly. An amazing character and will be missed. Most of the cast are saying. Helen, for the record, doesn't really improve, and the first episode of Series 6 does kind of show that for obvious reasons. She does still have funny moments, but yeah, she's still the worst. Gordon deserves so much better, and Helen can just rot in hell for all her unfaithfulness, manipulating Gordon's new job position for her material needs when she was originally planning on leaving him, and whorish actions. Toxic is the word for her. It's a comedy, I know, but this kind of behaviour is still one of the worst kind. As much as you're mixed on Colin, you've got to admit the shenanigans with him and the bomb were hilarious. The bomb does get resolved in the Series 6 opener for the record. Right, okay, at least I know that now, thank you. Although it got bizarre for you at the end, I'm glad you enjoyed the Series 5 finale and I hope you enjoy the upcoming Christmas special and Series 6. P.S. Your reaction to the Gordon-Laura fake-out was hilarious. I wouldn't be surprised if the writers did that on purpose as one final troll move for the shippers. Yeah, they knew what they were doing with that one, didn't they? Because, yeah, I think most people probably would have had the same kind of reaction to that bit. So at the time of me recording this, I have recorded my first episode to the British Empire of Series 6. I don't think the bomb did get addressed, so maybe it's like in the second or the third episode. But at the moment, all I will say is the absence of Laura is felt. That's all I'll say based on that first episode so far. But you know, stay tuned for my my reaction to it. Katie Monster Q. I've watched each of the first 3 episodes of Goodnight Sweetheart and I love what you're seeing, both you and the content. You are so warm and friendly and I love your interactions with the audience. Keep up the incredible work. Newest subscriber here. Well, thank you for subscribing. And thank you, I'll say at this point, thank you to every new subscriber that we've had on the channel. Obviously, not everyone has come through you know, that allows their names to be shared publicly, that they are publicly subscribed to you. But the ones who I was able to recognise that are new subscribers on this list, Lydia, Wesley Garner, Mega Prince, The Drew 05, Lewis Ward, Stuart Arnold, Stephen Lodge, Mar BL Rexbro, James Macefield, Dragzeg, Peter Kearns, Cookie Tree, Katie Monster Q, and Brandon Foley 87, who, incidentally, Brandon, you were my 1000th subscriber, so thank you for that. Yeah, you know, welcome to each and every single one of you to the channel, and I hope you like seeing what you're doing. Like Katie said, I mean, although Katie, I have to say, I love the fact that you very clearly seem to be an Avenue Q fan, based on the profile picture that you seem to have put up, and your name is basically Kate Monster. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But yeah, no, I'm glad you find me warm and friendly and fuzzy and everything else. So yeah, thank you. Ooh, sorry, I just skipped one. There we go. So also, Goodnight Sweetheart. Thanks to what I watch of Call the Midwife, I only know cloth and water to clean babies, and a towel or another cloth to wrap the baby in as a hold. See, that makes sense now. That makes more sense. Can't say that I would have got that because I've never seen Call the Midwife. It's, again, apologies for the dogs barking. But yeah, at least I've learned something. You know what I'm like. I'm a geek. I like to learn new things. It's Welshie. I'm neither a lover or hater of Pineapple-Aid, but pouring a glass and chugging it was a real power move against the haters. Right. So, with that, I didn't plan on that. I mean, obviously, I went out and bought the Pineapple-Aid because of a couple of the comments. I just thought that would be a bit funny. I did intend to do a bit of a chug, and it was just I meant to do a bit of a drink, yeah, and just go, yeah, there it is, yeah, I like it, whatever, and it turned into a bit of a chug, and then obviously I watched it back as I'm doing my editing for the episode, and I was thinking, oh, does that look a bit cringy? Does that look a bit staged? I don't know. Yeah, so I nearly cut it. I actually nearly edited it out of the video. I was like, oh, is this a bit weird? I don't know, but hey, people seem to like it from what I could see of the comments. So from that episode of Still Game, Anita let me know that Michelle was an X Factor winner who entered the pub. there's no way in my head I think I ever would have got that, because for me personally, with the X Factor, I never really watched it. Really, beyond the year, which, if I remember correctly, I think it was the third series, the one where Leona Lewis won. The main one I remember of that series, because that was pretty much the last one I watched all the way through. I think I saw like odd clips here and there over the years afterwards, but like properly watching it, that was literally the final year, because my favourite came in third. Ben Mills. He was a guy with long hair, a little bit like myself, but he had like a really kind of gruff, kind of sort of classic rock style. I remember him doing Maggie May and Live and Let Die. Those two. I remember him doing them, and he was great. He was a proper rocking kind of guy. And in fucking second place, you had Ray Bloody Quinn, who I absolutely detest as a performer and a singer. I unfortunately had to see him a few times when I worked at Butlins when I was at uni, and I had the unfortunate case of seeing him in Northampton. I went to see Grease, and he played Danny Zuko in that, and he was dreadful. And yeah, I'm allowed to be a critic, and I think the first judge of being a critic is you have to be able to judge yourself. I do performance. I have played Kaneki on stage, and I was not great. I was, for amateur levels, I was half decent, but for like professional standards, I would be nowhere near that in any stretch of the imagination. But he was worse than some of the worst performances I've seen in amateur theatre. He was that bad. He was so wooden. And Danny Zuko is such an iconic role that, of course, was done by John Travolta. So yeah, he just failed miserably. So no, I wouldn't have known about Michelle, that she won it, because I wouldn't have seen it. But as far as I was concerned, she was just another patron of the Klansman. George Crop. Pineapple belongs on a pizza, and that pizza belongs in the bin. I knew there would be controversy as soon as I mentioned it in the video, and I knew it'd be divisive, and it absolutely was. But again, you're entitled to your opinions. I'm not saying that anyone is right or is wrong. Paul, Ted Robbins will be familiar if you've watched Phoenix Nights. So Ted Robbins was in the episode of Benidorm. He was that sleazy, like a review guide guy, the one who was big and fat and got kidnapped at the end, I think, presumably to have his organs donated, so he's probably dead by now. Phoenix Nights. I know that's obviously done with Peter Kay, and if I remember correctly, that spawned what was the spin-off called? Max and Paddy something, wasn't it? I can't remember. I think that might be something I may have to consider doing for the channel. You'd have to bear in mind that I may have seen it, but realistically, not for maybe, I want to say 15 years, there or thereabouts. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I don't even think I saw all of it. So I definitely don't remember him from anything. So yeah, if you want me to do Phoenix Nights, let me know. Louisa on the Doctor Who Vincent and the Doctor episode. Appreciate your honesty on this one. From a Doctor Who standpoint, it's an average episode. From a mental health point of view, it is a good representation, although maybe not quite as good as Ted Lasso, but that is hard to beat. The ending speech, I agree, deserves to be number one of best emotional speeches in modern Who. I appreciated what it tried to do with that episode. For me, it didn't necessarily land the best, but I thought it was good. For anyone who doesn't know my early days on the channel, my first ever set of reactions to anything was Ted Lasso, Series 3. And I do need to go back and revisit that, because I never even did my Series 2 reviews of that. I did Series 1 reviews, then I did Series 3 reactions. I didn't really go back. So yeah, I may have to revisit them at some point. The other thing I want to say that is linked to mental health, which I've heard really good things about. There's so far one series, and that's called Shrinking, which was also on Apple TV. That the only thing I know about it stars Jason Segel, who was from How I Met Your Mother, and Harrison Ford. He's in that as well, and apparently that has a great depiction of mental health. That they're going to be doing series 2 apparently soon, and Brett Goldstein, who played Roy Kent in Ted Lasso, is also going to be in series 2 of Shrinking. So that would be great to see. Yeah, I may have to go back to that because I loved Ted Lasso. I loved to do my reactions to Severance. So yeah, I do need to go back to some of the Apple TV stuff and check some of those out again because they were great. Field costs. When you finish the last series of Ghosts, you could move on to the American version. It's not quite as good as the original, but it's not too bad. See, I was debating about this, and you'll have to let me know what your thoughts are, because I don't necessarily want to go into it if it feels like it's just going to be pretty much a straight word for word kind of rip off. I want to feel that it's doing its own thing. So let me know what your thoughts of Ghosts are, and if it does feel like it's a bit of a straight rip off, then maybe I won't do it. I mean, I'll probably do at least one episode of it just to kind of get a feel for it. But yeah, let me know. I don't recommend watching series 6 and 7 of The British Empire. The subtle British humour has gone. I think the new writing team tried to make it more appealing to an American audience. I think you'll either love it more or hate it. In my opinion, The British Empire should have ended with series 5 as the original writers intended. Again, I can only really say so far from the first episode. It's a strange feeling at the moment, and I'll see more as it goes along. There's a lot of stuff that people say, oh, you're not going to like this, or you will like it, or whatever. I will see it, and I'll make up my own judgment for myself, and you, of course, will make up your judgment of whether you think it's good or bad with that. The guy with the megaphone that says you're just too darn loud is Huey Lewis, the singer that actually sang The Power of Love. See, I don't think I would ever got that, because going into watching Back to the Future, I knew the song. I knew the song Power of Love. It's a great song. But I can't say I'm really familiar with Huey Lewis, the person. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that I missed that. But then again, I did go back and look at an image, and I can understand if you know what Huey Lewis looks like. I can understand how some people may have missed that. The sequels to Back to the Future are definitely worth reacting to as well. And I debated whether to put the second one on the plan the poll for next month's reaction. I'm just holding off slightly for now. I'm possibly going to put that on one of the polls, maybe the summertime. Or I might just do it randomly and just surprise you all. Who knows? The Scottish guy thinks that the second Back to the Future movie is better. Interesting. Because I remember having a debate as a child, and I think my opinion has somewhat slightly changed in recent years, but I remember having a debate with my sister where we were saying that in reality we don't think there's many, if any, at the time, of movies where the sequel is better than the original. I think anyone that tries to argue that Terminator 2 is a worse movie than the Terminator would be lying, because Terminator 2 just takes everything that was great, makes it better, in my personal opinion. The first Terminator was great. All the movies after that, that's again, that's up to your personal opinion. Me, not so much. But then you have like people who go like, The Empire Strikes Back is better than A New Hope. Personally, I prefer New Hope over Empire Strikes Back, for me personally. But then again, at the same time, I preferred Return of the Jedi more than the other two, which a lot of people think is the worst of the trilogy. Like I said, it always comes down to your own personal taste at the end of the day. Still Game does not fall downhill. I wish I had £5 for every reactor who is told this and who ends up enjoying the last 3 series. I could have retired earlier. The last 3 series are great. See, that's interesting. And of course, we have a follow-up where Colin says, you'll be sorely disappointed by series 7 onwards. This seems to be the biggest divide in the comments at the moment, whether, Series 7 and onwards is, worse than the original show, is better, or in some ways is just as equally good and has some up and down moments. Again, everyone is entitled to their own personal viewpoints on it, and I will make up my viewpoints when the time comes, when we watch it, and you can let me know if at those times with those. If I like an episode, you can tell me if you disagree with that. If I don't like something, you can tell me if you think opposite and you actually like that episode. I'm going to give everything a fair shot. That's the only way you can judge it. I'm not going to stop because some people go, oh, yeah, it's not so good. Because if that was the case, I would have stopped about Benidorm after Series 3. And I have been enjoying it, And speaking of Benidorm, Duncan, he says, great reaction. Can't wait for you to get onto Series 6, my personal favourite, Tonya! And then a week later, followed up with, I'd wait until after Series 6 before doing your favourite karaoke acts. No spoilers, that's all I'm saying. The BGT Benidorm spin-off is only about 10 minutes long. So, the reason I just went, Tonya! Is because I just have seen the first episode of Series 6. I recorded that earlier on today. And all I will say is I now understand the Tonya reference. But most importantly, knowing a particular actress is in Series 6 of Benidorm, knowing what they can do and what their talents are, yeah. I know what you're hinting at. I know exactly what you're hinting at. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know what you're hinting at. And I cannot wait. There you go. Desmond's is great. Let's hope your viewers give it a chance. To be fair, I feel that way with a lot of shows. There isn't really any show that I've watched and maybe gone, I don't know if I want to watch it again, Although technically, I will say, obviously coming up tomorrow is my first reaction to Rabsy Nesbitt. I was a bit hesitant about coming back to Rabsy Nesbitt, and you'll see a bit more when you've seen both of the first two reactions, the first two of which I've already recorded. But I was a bit hesitant coming into Rabsy Nesbitt because I wouldn't necessarily say from the Christmas special that we watched last year, it wasn't necessarily, my most favourite thing that I watched that month. But I gave it a chance, and so far, I'm liking what I see with Rabsy Nesbitt. And, it's the same with a lot of these shows. Sometimes it takes a little while, and I'm trying to do a nice eclectic variant so that there's a little bit of something for everyone. Maybe I'm going about it the wrong way, and maybe people would rather see one thing, done to death and then move on to the next thing and do that one to death. But no, I like the variety that I do for the channel, and I hope that more people, check things out, personally. I'd love to say that I was a Manny, but I'm so Bernard in my job. Also, I know the first episode of Black Books is a little out of sorts, but go with it. Honestly, such a good show. And I would say that's a similar thing to what I just said, about giving things a chance. Black Books, I'd always heard was a bit weird. So I was always a bit in an R, but then I thought, well, let's do it. Let's try it. You never know. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I think most people on the inside, especially in retail, are probably a bit of a Bernard, but outwardly they have to be a bit more Manny. And I think that's a shame, isn't it? Callum, also on Black Books, if you're still wondering who that actor was, he's called Rupert sorry, I'm butchering it. He played a Slytherin in the Doctor Who episodes Aliens London World War 3. Oh, of course he did! Yeah, he was one of the general ones, wasn't he? See, I knew I recognised the voice. I wasn't quite sure of the face, but the voice. Damn it. Thank you, Callum. That's been bugging me for a little while. Thank you for that. I love Black Books. It just keeps getting better over time. Also, after 13 years of working in retail, Bernard Black is my genuine customer service idol. I spend all week being nice to customers, no matter their attitude towards me, and Bernard gets to say all the things I sometimes wish I could say. Now, I've never seen the movie, but I know of The Purge, and I know what it effectively is. And I've said for a little while, in customer service and in retail, there should be a purge day. That for one day of the year, you can say exactly what you want to say to customers with zero repercussions. That is my personal view. I think that is a great suggestion. You let me know if you agree. Andy, why is the opening credit music different to the original BBC version of Still Game? People said that to me in some of the early reactions I did, and they spoke. Apparently, the versions that I've been doing most of the time is the DVD versions of it, more so than the original broadcast version. And apparently, the theme tune on the original broadcast version is different to the DVD version. That's what I've been told, and I guess that's why it's different to what you may be used to. I knew that the ending, this ending to Still Game. By the way, this was the Beefy Bake episode. I knew this ending would get you like it's what. I knew this ending would get you. It's like Wireless all over again, Rosemary. Another great reaction. Sorry, I'm mushmouth today. Mixed emotions as we're getting to the end of the originals. Like you said previously, I don't think the quality drops, but it's hard to capture the magic again after a long absence. The new ones are on par with very early episodes. It just peaks this series, so it feels like a drastic swing. Don't get me wrong, it just feels different, just like Red Dwarf did, but still some gems in there. Looking forward to you reaching the end, but also wishing it could last forever. Yeah, series like 10, 11, 12 of Red Dwarf. Yeah, it was noticeable like how much older they were, how much like fatter they were in a lot of instances. And because obviously it was like there was a lot newer technology and it was in HD, like just like visually it is so incredibly different, particularly to the early series. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's one of the big things, and obviously we'll see when we get round to watching Series 7, which is why I think in a way purposely I wanted to have that little bit of a break, you know, to give myself that pause in the same way that you guys got the pause. What I will say with the kind of comparison to the Wireless ending, I would kind of agree and disagree with that one. So I still stand by with the end of Wireless. That for me that just felt a weird ending. I get what you mean when you compare it, because that it kind of annoyed me, the ending, but I think the difference with it in this particular one is the fact that it didn't actually feel unrealistic. Like Henderson screwing over Pete by taking advantage of him being drunk and literally giving him as his compensation a booze cabinet, basically. I could see people doing that in reality, as horrible as that sounds. I could see that being realistic. Whereas the Wireless one, it felt too jarring and unrealistic for me in that particular one. Jack on the Monty Python's Life of Brian. Fun fact: for the scene at the window, Graham Chapman used a small rubber band to hold back something to make himself look authentically Jewish. Ouch. I don't know if the next one is an urban legend, but apparently the non-Python extras in the bigger sticker scene didn't know what was going to happen and were instructed not to laugh no matter what, so their reactions were real. See, I have heard things about that as well, that there was a lot of improvisations, and they, again, it was kind of said to them like, don't laugh, but they kept doing loads of different versions of things, trying to make them laugh. That's what I've heard. Again, like you, that is something I would like to believe. From Benidorm again, pretty sure it's meant to be Tommy Cooper. Right, yeah, so Tommy Cooper and Ken Dodd, yeah, I kind of got them muddled up. I can't really say I've really ever watched either of them. I think I need to check them both out on the channel, and maybe that will help me to know the difference for them later, at another time. Monday tea time go to Benidorm. Thanks, Kev. I've noticed Madge slips into a Scottish accent quite often in this episode. Hang on. Madge is Scottish? Really? I don't think I ever knew that. Cookie Tree. What a great first video to find your channel. This was Fat Friends, by the way. Love this show. Loved your reaction. Can't wait to see more of your content. Sub to. Hopefully you can hit your first 1,000 subs. Oh, well, I did manage to do it, so thank you for contributing to that, Cookie Tree. I'm glad you started watching Fat Friends. It's a very underrated show. Love your Benidorm reactions as well, but hopefully you do Fat Friends more often. And to be honest, I think I'm going to have to, because I don't want to maybe say this out loud in case there's maybe other people that want to steal my thunder, but I think I may be the only person who is doing reactions to Fat Friends at this stage. And I think that maybe kind of contributed. I had a sudden little surge in viewers for the first episode, the one I did back in January, which that happened coincidentally just before I released the second episode anyway. So that was already planned. I was going to go back to and do that. But yeah, maybe I may have to do more Fat Friends, because if people are liking that and they're searching for it, then yeah, maybe I need to do it much more frequently. I know something she'll love in Fat Friends. It's called Adipose. Come on, Kevin. You got to get the reference. Yeah. I think I got the reference. The Hooniver, the Pandorica, and this is what I always say, you're always entitled to your own opinions. I'm really sorry, Kevin, but I just can't agree with you on this one. I absolutely love this finale. It's such a whimsical and beautiful story in a lot of parts. It's fun, engaging, and for me, it's very fast-paced. The Big Bang, while I admit is definitely the weaker half, it's still enjoyable in terms of its tone, pace, and funny quirks. The only issues with it are the RTD-style universe reset to solve the ending, and the inclusion of the Dalek as a villain. The Dalek is very unnecessary to the plot, and even Moffat admitted himself it was a very last-minute addition. For me, personally, it gets a solid 18 out of 20. And I am absolutely fine with you differing your opinion to me. Like I said, you are entitled to your opinion, and does that make my point more or less valid than yours? No, it doesn't. That's what it is. You know, I stand by my viewpoints on it, and as with many things, you know, there may come a time that I'll rewatch it and go, actually, I've now changed my mind and I now view it differently. But that's a story for another time. From the life of Brian, I like these two comments from Jen and from Antique Insider. So Jen said, I guess the spaceship scene is a callback to Terry Gilliam's animations in the TV series, which I've not seen yet, but I would like to. A sketch would run its course, then cut to a surreal animation as they didn't favour punchlines. Sometimes they'd go with a song instead. The animation was the glue that held the show together. And then this was followed up by saying it's a reference to Roman and Greek dramas where the gods would unexpectedly intervene in the lives of the humans, sometimes to give an unexpected twist to the story. You know, I could see both of those being the reasons why they put in that. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't make it any more or less surreal. As a result, it was the most bonkers thing I've ever seen and the most surreal cut to something completely different that I've ever seen. But I think in the long run, I'll probably appreciate it. The point that John Cleese makes about people being in pain is interesting. Originally, each cast member was measured for their own cross, but Terry changed his mind on the day and started switching people around. This was purely for visual effect, but people ended up on the wrong cross, and as Terry stated in an interview, the pain was genuine. Also, there was a strong wind and the actors were freezing cold, so I don't think that they were registering pain on purpose, it just couldn't be helped. Excuse me. I completely understand and share your viewpoint on the cross. It's a method of torture and execution by which thousands of people suffered. Yeah, no, it was hard from that debate to find any stuff that you could agree with the bishop or the other guy in, and in reality, you have to say the Pythons were the ones who were making the most amount of sense in that one. But yeah, there'll always be some stories that kind of give a new context to things that makes you go, oh, actually, that's interesting. That's making me think a little bit more. You know, truthfully, most of my friends didn't understand this movie because they didn't know enough about the New Testament or biblical teachings to have any reference, and it's a hilarious movie. So with that, I mean, again, I'm not religious. I'm not a religious person. I mean, I did grow up, like my first school was a Church of England school, and we did religious stuff in other things, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was a subject that I paid the most amount of attention to. I preferred kind of creating my own stories, more so than listening to history at that point in time anyway. I like to think I've got an okay knowledge of historical stuff and religious stuff now, but I don't think personally this movie you need to have biblical understanding for it to make sense. Because again, it's it's a very different kind of movie. It is satirical, not historical. You know, like if you were watching maybe like a Jesus of Nazareth or something like that, then maybe I could kind of go with you a bit more with that one. But with the Monty Python, personally, I don't think you need to have that biblical understanding there. I seem to miss the reactions that you do on Dailymotion. I don't know why, as I really love Only Fools and Horses. I'll have to set a reminder to check your Dailymotion. So there is never a time that I will upload a video to Dailymotion or to Google where I basically don't announce it. And so it's basically all of my videos that I do. Just keep an eye out. Obviously, if it is a long one, typically it is going to be one that is going to be a full-length thing on YouTube. If it is something that's like a couple of minutes long, typically that is the video where I just go, this is what I'm doing today. If you want to check it out, check the link out in the pinned comment or the video description, and that's where you'll go to find the video. That's just the way I do it. I find that's the nice, easiest way for you to be able to see it. So again, I don't like necessarily doing the cut and paste things, but there is the odd show that I will do that for, Doctor Who obviously being one of them, but I still give you that full-length reaction experience that you can do it if you want to do that rather than the cut and paste version of it. Good one, Kevin. Shame about the adverts on Dailymotion. Neighbours from Hell Next Door. Classic episode of Only Fools and Horses. I can't believe your channel doesn't seem to grow because as things go, you're not a bad YouTube content creator. I know lots of YouTubers are having their own various issues with YouTube, even those over the pond. Some have gone back to work full time, some have moved to other options. I mean, sorry, my bum's going numb. I've always said that I'm really mostly doing this for fun, you know, and to kind of keep my mind active, you know, away from work and things. May and June maybe a little bit more stagnant, potentially, depending on how things go, because I am going on holiday in June. So when I go on holiday, I have made the decision I am actually going to pause the videos for 2 weeks, so I can actually have a break, and I'm not rushing around to try and record stuff to have it ready to go whilst I'm away, because for 2 weeks I don't think I could do that. Maybe a couple of days maybe, but for 2 weeks, nah, I'm not going to be able to do it. So there'll be a 2-week break there, and of course at the end of May I'm performing on stage as Fagin and Oliver, so again I will lose a lot of time to be able to record stuff then, so we'll have to see how things go. But like I said, I mainly do this for fun, and okay, it would be nice if I earned money from it. I mean, technically at the moment, I have earned some money from Dailymotion. I have earned the grand total of $2.06 from all of my videos on Dailymotion. Yay! And of course, now I've hit 1,000 subscribers, I can monetize videos. The only problem is, there's quite a few videos that I won't get any revenue on, things like the Still Game or Benidorm and stuff, because ultimately, you know, they're copyright claimed, and although they allow them to be viewed on YouTube, it doesn't allow me to get any of the money from it. You know, so again, I've always said, like, I don't want to do like a pay kind of thing and make you pay to watch stuff, but I am at that point. I'm thinking, you know what? I may do the Patreon, even if it's just literally, here's a Patreon. If you want to do it, literally £1 a month, that'll just give me a few pennies just to pay for things like the Google Drive, you know, just to support me. and maybe I'll do a few bonus things for you as a thank you for that. You know, maybe I'll do that. And maybe 5 people would want to donate something there. That may give me £5 a month. But that'll cover things for like the apps that I use for like editing and thumbnails and things like that. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But I don't worry about how fast or slow I grow. I just do it for the fun, and you know, if I have a video that gets 1,000 views, great. If I get a video that gets 2 views, great. Doesn't bother me. I love that in Still Game it was all in Jack's subconscious. He was ready to go, but he knew his pal still needed him. They really nailed this landing. It was a good episode, wasn't it? That final one, it was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant. But of course, back off, you spooky bitch! So good. So good. Looking forward to the live at the Hydra reaction. It's so good. I think you'll enjoy that. They sold out over 10,000 seats and made U2 move their gig at a later time. See, that says something. If you're big enough that you're making U2 have to change their gig, you're doing something right. The Still Game Series 7, 8 and 9, are you putting them on your channel here? So yeah, kind of similar to what I mentioned a little bit earlier on. Basically what will happen is all of my videos that I can't get onto YouTube, I will do a video. So like, say it was going to be tomorrow, and I was doing Series 7 episode 1 tomorrow, I would do a video and it'd be like a minute long or so saying, this is Series 7 episode 1 of Still Game. If you want to check it out, click the pinned comment down below or the video description, and that will take you to my Dailymotion or my Google Drive or wherever it is, and you can go see it. I will never not do it like that, because I don't want people to rely on looking at my Dailymotion and seeing it, because sometimes, I'll be honest, I forget to turn them from private to public, you know. So if I just did it like that, sometimes you may not see it for longer than it was supposed to come out for. Kevin, do you ever respond to comments? Of course I do, Andy. You know I do. But obviously you follow that up by kind of talking about do I read them properly? Do I put like a red heart kind of thing? Which, as you can see from what I obviously did on that, I do always do that. So what happens? I basically will check out the comments on a pretty much a daily basis. I'll have a look at the end of the day and just go, did it get any new stuff in? Is there anything that is interesting? Maybe I want to take note of for when I do my responding to comments videos. But also, there will sometimes be some comments that I'm not going to wait until the end of the month when I do this kind of video. Because, for example, there was one where someone said only a couple of days ago, they were like, I hope you do another an Idiot Abroad, and so that was kind of one because I knew that this video wouldn't necessarily come out in time. I said, yeah, there is another one actually, and it's coming out in about a week's time. So things like that I will typically respond to if I feel that I can't wait for the end of the month and for this video to kind of drop out. But of course, when I do this video, I spend about an hour or two, and I'll literally go back and look at every single comment that everyone has left. I will make sure that I do a like on every single comment, unless there is any dodgy ones in which I won't like it. But for the most part, I will like every single comment that people have left on those comments over the last month, and I will then obviously read through and try and pick out 1, 2, 3 from each video that I released. So that's how I do them. And that is it. That is your lot for reading your comments for the month of March. And of course, I've given you my plans for April. So don't forget, Still Game, it's on slight pause, but it is still coming this month. Benidorm is going to be happening. British Empire is going to be happening. We've got some new shows. We've got some returning shows. We've got lots and lots of stuff on the channel. Make sure you let people know about my content. And once again, thank you so much for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I absolutely cannot wait. So, for today, my name is Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.